Hey, remember when I warned you about these Orlando Magic? This is exactly how I thought this game was going to go. But the Celtics get the win. Thank you, Derrick White, talking about it right now in a bonus Locked On Celtics podcast.
Be ever ready. Recognize the city of champs. Boston, baby, we do what you can't. Locked on number 18, Tatum and Brown, J-team, step back. We gon' wet that and slay teams. Of course the Celtics, who else could it be? Screaming like KG with the Larry O.B. Karalis above average, assessing the team status. Best daily pod, no cap, salary matching. Clutch like Bird the DJ, keep John on replay. Prime time, dapping up the truth on the sideline. Raining J's, how it started, raising banners, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners. B.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day. I'm here for you every day, and bonus podcast here post game on the weekend. Why not? Podcasting 7 days a week in this opening part of the season, giving you post game pods after a win over Miami and now a win over the Orlando Magic 126-120. This show is free, fresh, everywhere podcasts exist, normally Monday through Friday. So I appreciate you subscribing and making this show part of your daily routine. I'm John Karalis, former professional basketball player, now covering the Celtics for Boston Sports Journal. I'm also the author of the Boston Celtics All-Time All-Stars. Celtics 126-120 win over the Orlando Magic. That Orlando team, told you, I've said it, I've written about it, I said it on Locked On NBA, I said it on Twitter. This Orlando Magic team is tough. They're not going to win a ton of games, but man, they're going to make you earn the wins. These are they might lead the league in moral victories. And if they can get Wembanyama out of this, then maybe they'll moral victory their way into Victor Wembanyama. But for now, Celtics get this win, and it was just back and forth the whole game. They started slow, they continued on slow. Every time they made it look like they were going to make a run, they did something silly. They took a bad shot, they made a bad play, and they gave Orlando life. The difference in this game, besides Jayson Tatum going off for 40 and Derrick White going off for 27, shooting 59%, 5 of 9 from 3. And by the way, that dunk in the fourth quarter, where did that come from? Where was that? I did not expect Derrick White to dunk that. He was huge in this game. Okay, so those two guys, they bailed the Celtics out. And the difference really was Orlando doesn't know how to win. Orlando just doesn't know how to close games. And from their perspective, I'm sure if you listen to Locked On Magic, you're going to hear Philip Rossman-Reich talk about, yeah, this is another game where in a year from now or 2 years from now, they might close this out. I think that Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero combination, even though Banchero didn't shoot well in this game, he has that beast in him, man. That Wagner Banchero combination, if they get Jalen Suggs back from the sprained ankle, if they get a couple of guys back, this team can surprise some teams, especially if you come in like the Celtics did. They were on a back-to-back, but Orlando wasn't a back-to-back. But, Orlando on the back-to-back, they're just so young and, hungry. It almost doesn't affect them in a way. But the Celtics come in and they look like a team on a back-to-back. They look like the team. No Al Horford, which I think also hurt. No Al Horford because Orlando's zone killed the Celtics for long stretches. Once again, the Celtics cannot figure out how to score consistently against the zone. That was a killer for the Celtics, and having Al Horford to plop right at that free throw line would have just changed the dynamic a little bit, because that would have just kept Tatum out in the perimeter a little bit more. But regardless, Celtics just couldn't figure that out for long stretches, and tough game, tough one for the Celtics. They had to really, really fight. It's not going to matter in the end when we look back on this team, on what this Celtics final record is. And as I'm talking about this, the stat comes up. Jayson Tatum over the first 3 games of a season, most points, 104 points. more than Larry Bird's 96 and 84-85, Larry Bird 91 and 87-88, Paul Pierce 90 and 05-06, Kuzi had 89 and 56-57. Two of those players went on to win MVP, Bird and Kuzi. So Pierce, Tatum coming out strong with the 104 points, 40 in this game. Looked like he was in total control. Notoriously slow starter, not starting out slow in this one. Let's just go down the box score. Jaylen Brown, rough game. All right. Everybody's going to have a stinker. Tatum's going to have a stinker. Jaylen still managed 9 rebounds, 4 assists. He had a stretch there. He scored, 10 points in the second half, in the third quarter mostly. Didn't shoot well, didn't play well, but he was still a plus 14. So he did other things on the floor. He was part of good things on the floor. So bad night, chalk it up, move on. Marcus Smart, bad night. His shooting has been really, really bad. 1 of 9 from 3. He's one of the guys that took a bad shot. It was a fourth quarter. And Celtics had gone up 7. And he turns around and takes a quick three and misses. And that triggers an Orlando comeback. That was one of those, you have the other team on the ropes. You're throwing some punches and you go for the knockout. You swing and you miss and he escapes. He gets off the ropes and now he's getting back into the boxing match. That was not the place for that. That was the place for well executed offense. And Smart took a quick shot. I thought Marcus Smart, for most of the game, did not play particularly well. But he did have that one smart play that got screwed up by the official. Let me explain what that play is. It's the second game in a row. I'll explain what that play was. First, let's talk about PrizePicks, daily fantasy. If you've been betting the over on Jayson Tatum on PrizePicks, if you've been picking the over on Jayson Tatum in PrizePicks, you're winning. You're winning big. It's daily fantasy, and these entries are very easy to make. You pick 2 to 5 players, and if they go to score more or less than their PrizePicks projection, you pick the over or the under. You can win up to 10 times your money, and it's all based on the over-unders. It's not based on who I'm playing or who you're playing and us going head-to-head. You versus the projections. You win, you win. You pick it right, you win. And that includes all major sports, golf, college sports, WNBA, esports, NASCAR, every sport that you can watch, it's there on PrizePicks. It's a lot of fun. I've had people come up to me in the garden talking to me about their PrizePicks over-unders. Forget about the game. They're talking to me about PrizePicks. So go check it out. You can make those entries in 60 seconds or less. Super easy, safe, and fast withdrawals. Operational in 30 states and Canada. Go download the PrizePicks app. Go to prizepicks.com. Sign up. Play daily fantasy sports. If you're a first-time user, you can get a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with the promo code Locked On, all one word. You deposit 100, PrizePicks gives you 100. If you deposit 50, they give you 50. Don't forget to enter the promo code Locked On at sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100, prizepick.com, or download the PrizePicks app. Okay, so Marcus Smart doing the smart thing in the fourth quarter. So Orlando scores and the clock is running. Okay, it's still not 2 minutes. Once you go to below 2 minutes, the clock's going to stop. But for, with 3.5 to go there, the clock was running, but the shot clock hadn't started. And if you're inbounding the ball and you just roll it out there and nobody touches it, the clock doesn't start. The shot clock doesn't start, and neither should the backcourt 8-second count. That's what people got confused about. What that one ref got confused about. He started calling 8 seconds and no one had touched the ball. And Orlando was just standing there doing nothing. Marcus could have stood there for a minute and just let the clock run. And as long as nobody touched it, that game clock keeps running, but the shot clock doesn't, and the backcourt clock doesn't start either. So he was just milking the clock. Another intelligent move. He tried to do it in the last game, and Miami figured it out and extended their pressure and made him pick the ball up. Orlando wasn't doing that until they I'm sure they would have gotten like the, hey, go, but I'm sure the coach would have just screamed out, you got to go get him. But that's what Marcus Smart was doing. The official screwed up. The official messed up and blew the whistle, which was, fine. Derrick White was out of the game at that point. The Celtics had the 3 timeouts, and another element to that play and why they called the timeout there partly was after the 3-minute mark, you go down to 2 timeouts automatically. So that's when you hear the use it or lose it timeout. The Celtics had the use it or lose it timeout. So Mazzulla just called it and, got the guys a little extra rest, brought Derrick White back in because they were going offense, defense a little bit, getting some size in there. And Derrick White came in and closed out the game. So that's the explanation of what happened there. But bottom line here is Orlando is a tough team. They're a long team. They start 3 guys 6'10" and another guy 6'7". And the Celtics did not, they just don't have that kind of size to match. Noah Vonleh was okay. Luke Cornett was just not. He was just not. I'm just gonna have to. I think I'm just gonna have to take the big L on my Luke Cornett stock. I think the sprained ankle just hurt him and set him back, and he just never got a chance to run with these guys. He looked slow. He looked confused. He just wasn't. He just didn't look like he belonged out there, and so that didn't go well. I still want to see more. I still want to get him up to speed, but they're going to have to find some opportunities there to play him. I think if there are spots, if the Celtics are up big and they can afford to play and try to get him acclimated, it's only going to help. Not that I think that he should start. Not that I think that any of the stuff that I said before, very obviously, I got to take that all back. Very obviously, I got to say I was wrong. And that's just how it is. Whether it was the injury or not, it doesn't matter. The fact is, I was incorrect in my assessment of Luke Cornett, and that's it. That's how it goes. So, but the reason why I bring it up, the reason why I say they still have to play him is you can't just have this guy on your bench and not get him up to speed. They can't afford him not being up to speed. They just can't. You can't have that. So you gotta bring him along and find a way to pull him up. If he's behind, he's behind, and you just gotta find a way. That's me shrugging. All right. Just quickly, other guys. Grant Williams, some more clutch shooting. Another perfect night, 3 for 3 from 3. Blake Griffin, was trying to play Banchero. Did not play him very well, except for that one play where he stripped him and dove for the loose ball. Sam Hauser came in, shot 3 of 4 from 3. He only played less than 7 minutes, and he scored 9 points on his 3-point shooting. That was nice. Nice to see Peyton Pritchard make his debut, but just too small out there. He did hit that 1 3-pointer. Malcolm Brogdon was his usual self. I thought he was impactful and had some stretches there where he was really keeping the C's alive in the third quarter. But Jayson Tatum, 40 points. What do you want me to say? Jayson Tatum was just unconscious early on in the game. He took a shot. Banchero slid underneath him, and they wanted a landing spot foul. And I was critical of Tatum because instead of running back, Tatum just argued with the ref the whole time. And frankly, it pissed him off to a point where I feel like he woke up, because I thought early on, like the Celtics had a really bad start. They were just watching loose balls. They just watching offensive rebounds. That happened later. But that play where Tatum didn't get back, I think it just lit a fire underneath him, and he just went off. And this is I think just the Tatum that we're going to see now. Obviously not dropping 40 every night, but he dropped 35 the other night. We're saying he's not going to drop 35 every night either. He's just playing at a different level. That's just what it is. He's playing at a different level. This is MVP level Tatum. And if he continues this, and it's only been 3 games, but if he continues playing this way, and it's stylistically, it's how he's playing. It's not that he's scoring 40. It's how he's playing, and that's getting him to score 40. He keeps doing this, he's going to be in the MVP conversation. He's going to be a top 3 finisher at the very least. He's going to be in that mix. Celtics are 3-0. So if they continue hot and lead the East, then he's going to be in that mix for sure. It's Jayson Tatum, it's Derrick White. They're the main stories. They combined for 67 points, and they shut the door on Orlando. Again, Orlando's a tough team. A lot of respect for that Orlando Magic team. And they're not whole and they're young. They're going to be a tough out. They're going to be a tough out every single night. Much more on this in a full half-hour podcast. My podcasts are normally half an hour. These bonus podcasts a lot shorter, so I can just get them out. Quick reactions. Monday podcast will be a full 30-minute podcast. More reactions from the weekend. So make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcasts. You can also watch the show on YouTube. I really do appreciate anybody who has subscribed. Ring the bell on YouTube so you get notified when a show drops. And then share the podcast. Tell your friends, tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network.